Important night in the history of the world, according to Donald Trump, and a whole civilization will die tonight. Now, he's posted a lot of extreme posts, but this might be the most extreme we have seen thus far. So he's talking about Iran. They have until 8 p.m. Eastern tonight to open up the Strait of Hormuz, or he will literally obliterate them. Now, he says in his post, I don't want that to happen, but it probably will. However, now that we have complete and total regime change, where different, smarter, and less radicalized minds prevail, maybe something revolutionarily wonderful can happen. Who knows? We will find out tonight. One of the most important moments in the long and complex history of the world. 47 years of extortion, corruption, and death will finally end. God bless the people of Iran. So we're going to find out what Iran does by 8 p.m. Eastern tonight. So whenever we get that update, I guess I'll let you know what happens. But wow. Tonight is the most important night in the history of the world, according to Donald Trump, and a whole civilization will die tonight.
So right now, this post that Donald Trump made is going super viral. Everybody's talking about it. Trump has been making a whole lot of threats within the last few days, and it seems like we're on the eve of World War III. On Easter, he threw out all kind of obscenities on Truth Social. He said, open the effing Strait of Hormuz, or else you're going to see an attack like never before. He threatened to hit bridges and power plants. And now he followed up today by saying that a whole civilization will die. Interesting choice of words. That sounds like genocide. So here we have a standing president threatening to commit genocide. And, a lot of people are speculating that he may be using some type of nuclear weapon tonight. And they're floating this phrase around. And this phrase called a strategic nuke, which there's no such thing as a strategic nuclear weapon. I mean, a nuke is a nuke. But they're flirting with the idea of some type of strategic nuke. And are we on the cuff of full-blown nuclear warfare? Is this the beginning of the end? A lot of people are talking. And, I definitely want to evaluate what's going on, share my thoughts, and give you my views from a biblical perspective. So as you enter the broadcast, make sure y'all tap that like button. Y'all know how we do. Let's get into it.
They working against us. They hate our souls. They hate us. They hate our righteous indignation. They hate the exhortation that dwells in us. They hate our love for the They hate our conviction. They hate the fact that we repented. They hate the fact that we're truthful, honest, and bold. They hate our courage. Them devils hate us. We're not finna line ourselves up with these weirdos and freaks. With these weirdos and freaks. They working against us. They hate our souls. Weirdos and freaks. But these weirdos and freaks, they working against us. They hate our souls. Nubreed.
Ephesians 6:10. Finally, my brethren, be strong in the Lord, and in the power of his might put on the whole armor of God, that ye may be able to stand against the wiles of the devil. For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places. Wherefore take unto you the whole armor of God, that ye may be able to withstand in the evil day, and having done all, to stand. Stand therefore, having your loins girt about with truth, and having on the breastplate of righteousness, and your feet shod with the preparation of the gospel of peace. Above all, taking the shield of faith, wherewith ye shall be able to quench all the fiery darts of the wicked, and take the helmet of salvation, and the sword of the Spirit, which is the word of God, praying always with all prayer and supplication in the Spirit, and watching thereunto with all perseverance and supplication for all saints.
Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back. I see you brothers and sisters rolling in the chat pretty quick. Peace and blessings to y'all. DTR's in the building. Danielle Latson, Jason G, 84. What's going on? What's going on? Mika Love is in the building. Y'all make sure y'all stay interactive. You know, I want to know what you all think as well, because it seems that it's getting crucial. And from what I'm hearing, Israel has a timer. Yeah, they started a timer about 8 hours ago, a whole countdown timer. And they got Trump's picture up, and they got this timer counting down as if, you know, World War Z is about to happen at 8 o'clock p.m. Standard Eastern Time, based on what Trump has threatened. And this is a serious situation. However, you know, we're going to really comb through this and try to get an understanding of what's going on. And more than likely, we'll be right here when this attack is supposed to take place. And we can see if it really goes down like that. Now, y'all know what my sentiment's been at the very beginning. And the whole entire time, I put it out there that Iran was never really an existential threat whatsoever. And that this war was pretty much about not only greed, but it's also a holy war. You know, you have the Baal worshipers, the Epstein class, going against another force to be reckoned with, which is Islam. And they're going to devour each other at the end of all of this. Let's just be clear. The escalations are going to continue, because after Trump made this egregious threat, Iran, they didn't back down. I mean, they responded the same way they've been responding. I mean, they pretty much said, listen, they're not going to be folding under pressure. They've been nothing short of defiant the entire time this war has started. So they didn't change their sentiments, although it was such a horrendous threat. So let's see what's going on. Everybody is talking now. Everybody is actually bracing for impact, believe it or not.
Now, a lot of y'all just watched this on live TV. Trump just had a press conference at the White House, and he announced that if Iran doesn't open the Strait of Hormuz by tonight, 8 o'clock, that's his deadline, that he will hit their power plants and their bridges ASAP. He also said that Tuesday night might just be the night that he wipe out the entire country. And guess what? Iran responded immediately. The parliament speaker, Mohammed, he said if Trump go through with any of these threats that he's talking out his mouth, He said we will make the U.S. a living hell. Some of the U.S. representatives said this sounds like war talk. This is what they wanted, y'all.
So as you can see, we are far beyond negotiations at this point. You know, we are in a full-blown war. And what I think a lot of people are missing is that you have China and Russia who are allies with Iran. Now, that's the big problem right there. That's the big problem right there, because at the end of the day, what would be the consequences of Trump actually taking out their power plants and bridges and bombing civilians? Because you got to understand, it really would bring them back to the Stone Age to a degree if Trump was to actually go through with these threatening. Because without power plants, you done. Without bridges to be able to travel, he brings them pretty much to the Stone Age. But what will Iran's allies do? Now, mind you, America's allies are not helping at all. You got Trump complaining about that all the time, how we got troops stationed in different countries, but they're not coming to help us. NATO's not helping. Nobody's helping America, but Iran has its allies intact. Just something to consider.
This is an urgent message to anyone in the U.S. military. If Donald Trump gives you an illegal order to drop a nuclear bomb on Iran, disobey that order. You will be a hero. Please spread this message. This is an urgent.
You know, I'm looking at the threat that Trump put out there, and it is remarkable to me that Congress haven't had him removed from the White House. So now when it comes to America, we can no longer trust the system at all at this point. We've all sat back and watched Trump post these grandiose statements. We watched him post all kind of flagrant things on social media, celebrating people's deaths. You know, we seen him just gallivanting like some type of tyrant all over the news media. And now he's threatening to commit genocide. And if Trump needs to be removed, the whole system needs to be removed too. And I think Trump knows that. I think that at this point, America is causing global chaos on purpose, and that it's their time to be judged. And I believe they're all in on it. I don't care if you're Democrat, Republican, independent, liberal, whatever the hell you want to call yourself, Congress, whatever part of the government, they're all in on it at this point. They're all in on it. Because you telling me nobody is stopping this person from doing what he's doing? Something just is not right about that. Something is not right about it.
We're going to end up using nukes. The United States of Israel is going to end up using nukes. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. I think that this is going south. We don't hear half the shit that we're supposed to hear. I think that we're losing way more men than we're losing. I think that this is a fucking disaster, and Trump knows it. And I think that because of the arrogance of both of these men, Trump and Netanyahu, that we're going to do something fucking dumb and we're going to use nukes. Why would we have a problem doing that anyway? Look at Gaza. We funded this fucking genocide. Israel carried it out. Same two countries. So don't be shocked when it happens. I'm like preparing for it. It's horrible. We're going to end up using nukes.
I mean, the possibilities are there. What do y'all think? Y'all think Donald Trump is really going to be using a nuclear weapon tonight, or is he selling wolf tickets? I personally don't think Donald Trump is going to do a motherfucking thing. That's just my thoughts. I don't think he's going to do anything. I think he's trying to see if there's any fear coming from Iranian leadership. I'm not saying that I'm 100% correct, but I don't believe that he's going to do what he says he's going to do. That's my perspective. I would like to know what y'all think as well, but something just don't seem right about all of this. I think that we get a lot of propaganda, and for the life of me, I just can't see why someone will keep giving ultimatums and not following through, because this would be his third time giving Iran an ultimatum. And I think he would do it to kind of desensitize us to this type of talk. I think that we're being desensitized to real life consequences. We hear these terms thrown around all the time. Nuclear bombs coming here, war there. But I think it's a method to their madness. For when it really comes, we're just totally unsuspected. And for the life of me, I don't know why anybody would just be telling people what they're going to do and think that there's not going to be a consequence or a defense for it. And if you look at how they're moving over there in Iran, which we're going to examine that, they don't seem to be scared at all. I think America is headed for self-destruction, if anything, y'all. If anything.
What if Trump wants to destroy the global economy on purpose? I know it sounds crazy, but just pay attention to what I'm trying to say here. What if the chaos we're seeing is some type of huge strategy? Because if you assume everything is happening intentionally, it starts to make more sense. Now, listen to the end, because this gets very interesting. Let's say for a second that Trump isn't incompetent. Let's say there's actually a plan behind all this chaos, a strategy. Then the question becomes, what kind of plan would require this much disruption? First, you have to understand this one thing that most people don't. The entire global economy runs on one thing: energy. You disrupt energy, you disrupt everything. Now look at what's happening right now. The Middle East supplies a huge portion of the world's oil, and those routes are heavily disrupted. The entire world is feeling it in food prices, shipping, inflation, and everything else. Energy is the foundation of the global economy, and that foundation is breaking. Now, before any of this was happening, there was already conversations about rewriting the entire financial system. The Trump administration has said that the U.S. could possibly use Bitcoin to deal with its massive debt and restart the system in its favor. Russia even accused the United States of doing that. Now think about that. Break the old system, introduce a new system, and shift the balance of power all at the same time. Now, I'm not saying that's exactly what's happening. It's just a theory. But if it were true, this is exactly what it would look like, because if global energy slows down or even stops, you get a complete shift in power. New winners, new losers, new rules. So the real question becomes, who benefits if the system collapses? Because if you can answer that, you can start to see what's really happening. Do you agree? Disagree with this theory? Let me know in the comments.
I mean, that's a good theory. And we're already in the middle of an energy crisis. And I feel like the world powers, those who are in control, they don't really have nothing to lose. And I want to really preference this in a way where we can really comprehend that for them, they're willing to destroy the entire planet if that means they can somehow stay in control. What I mean by that is they're willing to eliminate everyone if that means we don't get our blessing. And I'm talking about when the scriptures talk about the last finishing first. These people will wipe out the entire planet. And there's a spirit on these people. They're demonic. So is it a possibility that they're doing all of this on purpose? Absolutely. These are Satanists. They turned the Pentagon into the Department of War. A lot of this stuff was planned. And I believe the whole country, and it's not just Trump. Trump isn't a scapegoat. The whole country must be on one accord. Like I said before, nobody's stopping Trump. That's a red flag. When you don't see Congress doing anything, it's just a red flag. I believe everybody's in on it. There's a lot more people in the cabal that agree with what Trump is doing. Trump is just the scapegoat. That is becoming more clear to me by the day. What say y'all? What say y'all?
Now, you might be thinking that the oldest civilization on Earth and a country of 90 million people, this can't be serious. However, I would remind you what happened in 2019 and 2020 when they went on TV and they told you everybody's going to stay home and nobody's going to touch each other and you're not going to get to go to any parks, sporting events, malls. You can't even be out on the street at certain times in certain cities. Yeah, remember when they said that and you were like, nah, it ain't gonna happen. 90 million people, the oldest civilization on Earth, but we better not have Ye enter the United Kingdom. Now, you might be thinking that the oldest civilization...
Now, you gotta really think about this. Iran is 5,000 years old. America is like 300 years old. Does America really stand a chance against a civilization that knows how to survive? Does America stand a chance against a civilization of 90 million people who are all together worshiping Allah? Meanwhile, over here in America, you can't find a household nowadays where everybody believes in the same God, let alone everybody agreeing on the war. Over there in Iran, there's a certain spirit and frequency over there because they all are in agreement with going against the Babylonian system. And so you got a lot of people who are really panicking right now. I mean, I've seen it all online. A lot of people are crashing out. I've seen people crying, saying, what is the point of living at this point? And, you know, I know it looks bad. However, the Most High God has a plan. Everything that happens is in his plan. See, the Bible says it's the Most High who setteth up kings and knocketh down kings and kingdoms and nations. And everything that happens on the face of this earth is for the greater good of them who love God. As simple as that. You know, at some point, we all going to have to gather to that valley of Jehoshaphat where judgment is going to happen. Armageddon is inevitable. The battle of Megiddo, the final days, the final hour, it's all inevitable. So it ain't nothing we can do about that anyway. But as far as something as serious as complete genocide of an entire civilization happening tonight, I just don't believe that that's how it's going to go. I think Donald Trump is petrified and he's just selling wolf tickets. I don't think he's going to do a damn thing. That's just my opinion, but something is going to happen. Something is going to happen. We're going to find out real soon what it is.
We are dealing with them. Essentially, they have till 8 o'clock tomorrow night, Eastern time. But we are dealing with them. I think it's going well. Mr. Witkoff is here, and JD's involved in the dealing. Mr. Witkoff is sitting right here, and I think it's going fine, but we'll have to see. You have to understand, we've been dealing with these people for 47 years. I'm standing here with a much more powerful Iran as of a month ago, not anymore. Right now, they are decapitated. We are dealing with them. Essentially, they have till 8 o'clock tomorrow night, Eastern.
So that's tonight at 8 o'clock p.m. Standard Eastern Time. So what do we got? What? Oh, we got an hour from now to see if Trump makes good on his promise. Now, there's two things. If he does send some type of nuclear attack or even bomb bridges with civilians and power plants that affect civilians by, you know, putting toxic fumes in the air and taking them out, then what would retaliation look like? What would that look like? Would that all of a sudden make Iran open the Strait of Hormuz, or they're going to just completely lose the key? And the inflation continues to skyrocket, and then you just set the stage for a nuclear war. Or let's say Donald Trump says, I'm going to fall back. I'm not going to do anything. You know what? I gave my ultimatum a few times, but I'm going to fall back on this one. How weak does that make America look? How weak does that make America look? You can tell that this rich billionaire boss baby ain't got no experience with life for real. And he's really he's not built like that.
While everyone is distracted by the space mission, something much darker is happening on the ground right now. This tweet from Trump just dropped and it is chilling. Read the words, "A whole civilization will die tonight." Thousands of people in Iran aren't in the streets. They are lining up and surrounding their power plants. This is extremely odd. It looks like they're being used as some type of human shields, or they're protecting the only thing left to lose.
So you got Iranians creating a human chain or a shield around a lot of their power plants. I believe they're doing that to stand in solidarity, as well as show that they're fearless. I believe that they're showing that they're fearless.
Why is the media silent on this? You have announcements on one hand, thousands of people at ground zero on the other. Timing is too perfect to be a coincidence. April 7, 2026 might be the day everything changes. We are being played on a global scale right now. Stay alert and stay prayed up. Wow.
Absolutely. And you know, the times that we're in right now, it is important to be aware and conscious of what's going on. You know, talk to your loved ones. At least give them a call and be like, hey, you see what's going on the news? What you think about all this? Talk to some of the veterans in your family if you have them. You know, just, you know, have a little plan, you know, a plan POS put in place. You know, how you going to operate if things do escalate, you know? However, me personally, I mean, I don't believe Trump is going to do a damn thing. And if he's going to do it, then do it. You know, all of this talk, all of this shucking and jiving and going back and forth. Look, all of God's chosen people, we tired of it. We done seen every damn thing anyway. We ready to meet our Messiah. If y'all want to go ahead and cause World War III and destroy the planet, look, we tired of this place anyway. Look, none of us ready to self-delete or nothing like that. But damn it, you know, look. We see what society is, and look, we done playing your game anyway. We got faith, so you know, we good. We know that we're gonna come out the other end just fine. Anyway, let's go.
Child, they say y'all president is gonna be
8 o'clock Eastern time, and after that, they're gonna have no bridges. They're gonna have no power plants. Stone Ages, yeah, Stone Ages. 8 o'clock Eastern time, and after that, they're gonna have no bridges. They're gonna have no power.
You know, I really do believe that there's already been a death to civilization. When Trump posted what he posted, I believe there's a symbolic meaning to that too, because America is no longer a civilization. It's not. In order to be a civilization, you have to be civilized. And seeing as how everybody's divided, how it has become a dog-eat-dog society full of capitalism and greed and jealousy, envy, and neighbors are not even neighboring anymore, and everybody is out for self. I mean, you know, this is the death of a civilization when you can threaten to exterminate a complete society of people, and nobody really takes to the streets to stop it from happening. You know, nobody within our government is stopping it from happening. If Trump wanted to really do it, what they're telling us is he has the green light. So yeah, civilization must be dead. It must be dead.
Folks, we have an emergency update on the Iran war right now. Donald Trump's Secretary of War, Pete Hegseth, was supposed to give a press conference tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. That has now been canceled abruptly with no reason or explanation as to why. And tomorrow is the same day that Donald Trump put a deadline on Iran to make a deal and open the Hormuz Strait, the same strait that Donald Trump himself led to getting closed because of this war. Otherwise, Donald Trump would begin striking Iran's power plants and bridges. He calls it Power Plant Day and Bridge Day. Trump says he could even take out the entire country of Iran tomorrow if they don't make a deal. Again, we do not know why Secretary Hegseth's meeting was canceled tomorrow. We don't know why he's no longer going to address the public in the morning. But we do know there is a possibility that these two instances could be related. We know that Donald Trump has a deadline for tomorrow. We also know that Iran has caught Trump's bluff multiple times, and Trump has continued to delay said deadline. We'll see who blinks first, but Trump is psychotic, unhinged, and if nobody stops him, he could do something very drastic tomorrow. I'll be sure to cover it all for you.
Donald Trump is a coward that's throwing a temper tantrum. You know, I want to read the scriptures right now. Luke 21:9. But when ye shall hear of wars and commotions, be not terrified, for these things must first come to pass. But the end is not by and by. So yeah, we're hearing threats, we're hearing wars, we're hearing commotions, but don't be shaken by none of that noise, y'all. And because I truly believe that's exactly what's happening tonight. That's exactly what's happening. And Iran just keeps calling America bluff, and they keep being right. They keep being right.
Come on, bro. Time is not running out for Iran. Time is running out for you, Donald Trump, and your partner in crime, Netanyahu and Israel. The world has been waiting for a very long time for a response from Iran. Iran, to be fair, has been restrained, but they will unleash. So go on, Mr. Sex Offender. Show us what you got. Come on, bro. Time is not running out.
Yeah, you know, and if you look at it, the whole world is against the two countries mentioned by this guy. The whole world is complicit in starving these two countries out, America and Israel. Nobody's coming to the defense of America and Israel. NATO didn't. Our so-called allies didn't. America is on its last leg, that's for sure. That is for sure. America is cooked. I mean it. It is done. It's a wrap. And I'm not saying that in a sense of it's going to end tomorrow or the day after. I'm saying it's already over. What you see right now is just a mirage. It's a figment of your imagination. Because the American dream is dead. Unless you wrap yourself up with Baal and Moloch and Satan and these damn people. Other than that, it's time to start planning our departure, just to keep it a buck with you. And I mean, it starts off with unplugging mentally and spiritually. But it got to come a time where we like, look, we got to find an alternative way of surviving. Because, yeah, this thing is deep fried. It's deep fried, y'all. I mean, it's seasoned up and well done. Trust me. Be Rich, thank you for the support. Says supposedly there has been a ceasefire, CNN reports. Wow. Well, we're gonna cross that bridge soon. I would not doubt it. I would not doubt it.
So I guess tonight we're going to take it all the way. A country of 90 plus million people added on top of what we did in Iraq and Afghanistan, if this guy is going to follow through on what his threats. Now, generally he's full of shit. He makes these threats, he walks them back. But I think he's at the point that he knows that this is it, and which just makes him even more dangerous of a person. So thoughts and prayers go out to the people in Iran, and I hope that this cooler heads prevail. I hope somebody gets in this lame's ear and talks him out of doing what he's thinking of doing, because this is extremely dangerous. So I guess,
yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if Trump walk everything back. He's just, a mental midget that's out here flailing his arms because him and his billionaire constituents are losing millions of dollars daily because of this war. And it is what it is. Now, some people are probably wondering why it's affecting America so bad, having a Strait of Hormuz closed. Well, let me break it down for y'all. America, yes, we have a lot of oil. A lot of the oil is stolen from Venezuela. And America already has oil underneath the ground, right? However, America does not have a mitigation system at all. So there's nobody really in America doing the hard work, plowing and digging for oil. So what does America do? They go off and they just steal everybody else's oil. And, this place is built like a place that's not meant to last. That's why when you watch Beverly Hills Hillbillies back in the day, Hollywood Hillbillies or whatever it was called, you seen them digging in the backyard and they sold the oil. Yeah, America would buy it. And most of the time, when they would buy oil from people who would dig for it, they would just trade it. But they have no mitigation system. So there's no oil actually being produced in America. That's the problem. That's why they're so desperate. That's why he was so pissed that Strait of Hormuz is closed, because the Strait of Hormuz produces almost 35% of the whole Earth's oil supply. All right. So now hopefully it makes more sense to y'all why he's so pissed about that. Yeah, America's straight lazy. So you just got a bunch of millionaires who are using oil as their lifeline, because that's what it is. And they're mad because they're losing right now. They're losing in many ways. They're spending so much money on oil. They got to beg Congress for $1 trillion more just to keep on going. So Iran is winning. In layman's term, Iran is winning right now.
We have some urgent news. Iran is now saying that they will teach the United States and Israel a lesson they have never received before after Donald Trump bombed them in the middle of the night. According to the New York Times, an Iranian spokesperson said, quote, "We will teach Israel and America a lesson they have never experienced in their history," adding, "Any base that helps America and Israel will be the target."
Okay, this is an older video right here. This is after they bombed them. I think it was like a couple weeks ago. So let me go to another source here.
Okay guys, breaking news. Things are getting pretty wild. So ahead of Trump's threats to end a whole civilization tonight, an Iranian official has called on the country's youth and other communities to create human chains around power plants and other critical infrastructure to protect them from US strikes. And turns out they're doing it. So in videos over the past few hours, they show hundreds of people creating what they called a human chain in front of the Kazaran combined cycle power plant, as well as Afaz White Bridge in southern Iran. Now, Iran have said that they have cut off direct communications with the US after Trump's threats, but negotiations through mediators are still ongoing as we race towards this deadline. As we know more, I'll keep you guys updated. Okay, guys, breaking.
That is a huge statement. That's them saying, look, we're willing to stand on our beliefs and die for what we believe in. That's a major statement right there from Iran, believe it or not. Let's go.
A little bit of breaking news coming out of the Middle East. Hearing in the last few moments from the Reuters news agency that Iran has rejected a US proposal for a 48-hour ceasefire. That's according to an unnamed source speaking to the Fars news agency. Iran rejecting a US proposal apparently for a 48-hour ceasefire. We'll keep across that for you. A little bit of breaking news coming out of the Middle East. Here.
So they rejected this whole ceasefire 48 hours ago. I want to go to some scriptures here because one thing's for sure, two things for certain, regardless of what happens tonight. Let's be very clear. The war continues and it's going to continue to escalate. It's not going to end. And, you know, the war is inevitable at the end of the day. When you go to Jeremiah 4:19, it says, my bowels, I am pained at my very heart because thou hast heard, O my soul, the sound of the trumpet, the alarm of war. So, you know, we've been talking a lot about energy shifts, you know, that inner feeling of anxiety, you know, sensing something that is coming, how you can feel certain things before it happens. You know, there's a reason why we're feeling these things because, yes, these things must take place. You know, and what we got to do, and the only thing we can do is live a lifestyle that seeks repentance, take care of our households, our families, ourselves, and make sure we are enjoying our lives to the best of our abilities while building our relationship with the Creator. Because He don't give us the spirit of fear. It may be daunting, it may be somewhat troubling, but we're not afraid. But we know that these people are self-destructive. We know that on both sides.
Okay, the shit just got real with Trump. He's threatening nuclear attack on Iran right now. This just came out literally minutes ago. Donald Trump posted on Truth Social, the whole civilization will die tonight, never to be brought back again. I don't want this to happen, but it probably will. However, now that we have complete and total regime change, etc. So, and their doomsday plane, which is in Nebraska, actually took a few circles around to test it out and then landed. So this is a direct nuclear threat, and Israel and US are already hitting the Karg Island of Iran, which is what Iran has said is going to be the most worst thing that they can hit, that Iran is going to retaliate hard. And they're already hitting that island, which hosts the most reserve, like oil and stuff of Iran, like 90% of it. So this shit is getting real. I'll keep you guys posted, but Trump is coming out and saying the civilization will die tonight. So hopefully it's not going to die tonight.
Well, you know, Trump says a lot of things. However, we got to look at what the scriptures is saying. We got to look at what the scriptures are saying. One moment, y'all. Hold on. Let me pull this up. Let me get those scriptures ready for y'all. Because, look, man can say a whole lot. Man can say a whole lot. Hold on one moment. Let's get to it.
I'm thinking about nukes. I'm literally thinking like, well, why write my book that I'm writing? Why do a lot of different things at this point with life? Because we're all going to be blown to smithereens at the end of the day. Because Israel is that insane. These Smotrich, Ben-Gvir, I think it was Smotrich's son, is either dead or dying because they bombed Lebanon again. These people think that they can get away and get away and get away and murder and murder and blood and blood and blood, and it's not going to catch up with them. They think they're free. Trump is free. Trump said, I don't care. Just like Bush said when they asked him about his legacy and what he did with Guantanamo Bay and waterboarding. I don't care. I'm not going to be alive, he said. What is Trump saying? I only follow my own morality.
He can go to Spain with his army when
Yeah, I mean, look, this lady is right on point, man. There has to be some consequences for all the evil that these countries have been doing. It has to. And they would be the ones that spark off WW3 because they don't think it's any type of consequences for their actions. You had Bibi Netanyahu talking about Genghis Khan should be more revered than Jesus Christ, you know. And I'm kind of paraphrasing what he said, but he was saying, look, evil, he said straight up, evil can overcome good. Once that was said, then Trump started talking crazy, y'all. Trump started talking crazy. Now, all of a sudden, genocide is on the table. Now, all of a sudden, they ready to take out civilians, and they're saying this all publicly. What is it, the Ponte contaminants, when they're not even supposed to be doing none of that? In their rules and regulations. But here you have our president threatening to commit war crimes on social media. Crazy stuff.
He wants.
He can do whatever he wants. These people feel that they are gods. They are gods. And this is what they want. And they want to balkanize. They want the goy, us goy slop. They think that we are garbage and we are the slaves. And guess what? We are the slaves. We are the slaves. I'm thinking about nukes. I'm literally thinking.
I ain't your slave. They slaves to Satan. They slaves to the damn devil. Second Esdras 9:3. Therefore, when there shall be seen earthquakes and uproars of the people in the world, then shalt thou well understand that the Most High spake of those things. See, uproars, that means wars, threats, chaos, people being unsettled globally. You know, when you see tension everywhere, that's a sign. That's not no coincidence. These are signs of the times. You know, people want to ignore this Bible, but the Bible is our true culture, our history, the direction. This is what solidifies what's happening. Second Esdras 15:5. Behold, saith the Lord, I will bring plagues upon the earth, the sword, famine, death, and destruction, for wickedness have exceedingly polluted the whole earth. The sword equals war. That's why you see things escalating. This is why you see so much global tension right now, because the sin has reached exceedingly high on the planet. And it's going to become devastating. And the crazy part is, regardless of what Trump do, the escalation is really going to take place internally, inside the country. When it ain't enough groceries to go around, when scarcity really hits, when you really hear the purge horns outside, that's when it's going to get real. That's when the reality is going to kick in. Second Esdras 16:18, the beginning of sorrows and great mournings, the beginning of famine and great death. Right now, we're in the early stages of some big events. We're not at the end. We're at the build-up point right now. When you see world leaders talking the way Trump is talking, oh, these people are not going to ease up. They're not going to let their foot off the gas until this world is in chaos and disarray.
This is very serious. A diplomat just resigned after claiming the UN is preparing for a possible nuclear weapon to be used in Iran. His name is Mohammed Safa, a Lebanese diplomat, and here's what he had to say. I don't think people understand the gravity of the situation as the UN is preparing for possible nuclear weapon use in Iran. He attached a picture of Tehran showing how densely populated it is, saying, for you uneducated, untraveled, never served, war hawks, licking your chops at the thought of bombing it. There are families, children, family pets, regular working class people with dreams. You're sick to want war. Tehran's a city of nearly 10 million people. Imagine nuking Washington, Berlin, Paris, London, or beyond, bombed with nuclear weapons. I gave up my diplomatic career to leak this information. I suspended my duties so as not to be a part of or witness to this crime against humanity in an attempt to prevent a nuclear winter before it's too late.
Wow. So you already have officials stepping down because they're hearing that the UN is planning to go ahead and use a nuclear weapon on Iran. So the rumors are really spreading. And, you know, the way Trump spoke, he said, look, we can take y'all out in one night. We're going to wipe out a civilization. That sounds like nuclear warfare to me. Sounds like a nuke. Second Esdras 9 and 7. And it says, and everyone that shall be Sauled and shall be able to escape by his works and by faith, wherein ye be loved. I don't know. I think you need to grammar check what you just posted, and let's get a clear, concise scripture. But also, let me add in, I got my scriptures here too. I want to go to Wisdom of Solomon 5 and 20. And it reads, he shall take him his jealousy for complete armor. His severe wrath shall be sharpened for a sword. So what you're hearing is judgment energy. You know, this scripture describes the warfare atmosphere like we have today. It's really describing where we're at today.
The Iranians have, and we've had numerous intercepts. Please keep bombing. Bombs that are dropping near their homes. Please keep bombing. Do it. And these are people that are living where the bombs are exploding. And when we leave and we're not hitting those areas, they're saying, please come back, come back, come back. These are the people.
So Trump is trying to convince us that they're doing something noble and that the people of Iran is begging to be attacked right near their homes. You know, this is the type of ideological subversion nonsense that these devils put out. These heathenistic, Baal worshiping, Satan worshiping, reptilian shape-shifting beast put out there. They're just begging for their own destruction. These people are wicked, and all they know is pain, death, and destruction. This is a raving lunatic, a maniac. Who the hell would beg you to come back and bomb near their houses? This is someone who is flirting with the idea of wiping out a civilization of people. At this point, MAGA, anybody who's in MAGA, you're not human. You're something else. You're not a human being.
Donald Trump going to drop a nuke tonight because he just tweeted this morning on April 7th, 2026, that a whole civilization is going to die tonight, never to be brought back again. A whole civilization is going to die tonight, never to be brought back again. I don't want that to happen, but it probably will, were his exact words. Donald Trump has officially lost his mind. I don't know what he's threatening, but he's threatening to end an entire civilization. Not a tyrannical regime, not an oppressive regime, not a dictator. He's threatening an entire civilization of innocent people. He went on to say, we'll find out tonight one of the most important moments in the long, complex history of the world. Guys, what do we even do? What do we even do? I just want to point out that my rep was absent when we tried to rein in his war powers via Venezuela. He wasn't there to vote, which is among a plethora of things he's done that are anti-democratic, in my opinion. So I'm running for Congress in the 2nd District of Connecticut to fight back, because somebody needs to stand up to this administration, and a lot of things that my current Democrat rep is doing, it's nonsense. And he's signaling to this administration that they can just get away with anything they want, and I don't believe that. My name's Kyle Galkin. I'm running for Congress in the 2nd District.
Yo, Trump ain't gonna do nothing. Trump ain't gonna do nothing. Y'all don't be afraid. Something's gonna happen. I can feel that something's happening. How many of y'all can feel that something is gonna happen? Some type of shift is taking place, but man, this man's selling wolf tickets, man. Donald Trump is he's just a raving maniac, man. Listen to this. He got his final warning. We're only hours left before this massive attack. Matter of fact, we're 30 minutes away, y'all, from a whole civilization being wiped out, according to Donald Trump.
This is a critical period. They have a period of, well, till tomorrow at 8 o'clock. I gave them an extension. They asked for an extension of 7 days, right? I said, Steve, give them 10 days. 10 days is up actually today, so I gave him 11, I guess, indirectly. I thought it was inappropriate the day after Easter. I want to be a nice person. They have till tomorrow. Now we'll see what happens.
He want to be a nice person, but they killed their Ayatollah during Ramadan, unsuspected, in the middle of the damn night. But now all of a sudden he want to be graceful and merciful. And, you know, I don't want to do it the day after Easter. Come on, y'all. Trump he's peacocking. He's selling wolf tickets, man. And I think that white supremacy in general are just completely confounded at the idea that they are not superior anymore. Imagine finding out that your whole life you've been lied to, believing that you are superior and you can no longer execute supremacy. Because I could tell you right now, them Iranians are not afraid of these white supremacists at all. They're just not.
Happens. I can tell you they're negotiating, we think, in good faith. We're going to find out. We're getting the help of some incredible countries that want this to be ended because it affects them also. A lot of people are affected by this, but we're giving them till tomorrow, 8 o'clock Eastern time, and after that, they're going to have no bridges, they're going to have no power plants. Stone Ages, yeah.
Stone Ages, yeah. There's going to be no bridges, no power plants. Look, this Neanderthal has the nerve to talk about bringing somebody to the Stone Ages. Look, man, the book of Sirach 12:10 says, never trust thine enemy. For like an iron rusteth, so is his wickedness. Iran are not going to, the Iranians will never trust America. None of the nations are really trusting each other these days. So guess what? There's always going to be tension under the surface. None of these situations we're seeing right now is built on trust. It don't matter what Trump says. He can call a ceasefire and say it's going to be a ceasefire, and he can bomb them 2 days later. We got to understand that Iran is not going to, they're not going to capitulate at all because they don't trust their enemy. They don't trust America. You've already lifted your hand out to shake their hand and then slapped them in the face. You've already shook their hand while having somebody sneak attack them from behind. They're not doing it anymore. But you can't get that through these thick Neanderthal skull. That their manipulation, their coercion, their narcissistic tactics just don't work anymore. So Iran is saying, look, we're gonna form a link around our power plants. We're gonna continue to be defiant. Whatever they coming with, let them come with it. That's why Trump was calling them crazy bastards. They're not afraid. And what Iran is showing is these reptilian leaders over here are the ones that's really afraid.
So this is a critical.
But I just got off the phone with the president, and he called, and I said, listen, if you were to put odds on it, what were the odds that this is going to end up being a negotiated deal? He said he wasn't going to put odds on it, but he said 8 p.m. is happening. That's what he said. He said it is, if we get to that point, there is going to be an attack like they have not seen. Now, he's sticking to that at this point. Now, he said if negotiations move forward today and there is something concrete, that could change. But at this hour, he didn't want to put odds on it, but he said it is moving forward with the plans that we have. But I just got off the phone with the president, and
So Trump says he's not backing up. And this was like a couple of hours ago. Let's see what happens real soon, y'all. The countdown is here. Y'all get to watch this live. What's really happening?
The entire country can be taken out in one night, and that night might be tomorrow night. The entire country can be taken out in one night, and that night might be tomorrow night.
I think the country that has a more of a chance of being taken out in one night is America. To be honest with you. Because if you look at the scriptures, it tell you that Babylon gonna be up in smoke in one day. Wiped out by fire. Sound like nuclear fallout to me. So if I'm looking at this prophetically, I don't think they're gonna take Iran out. And if they were to do that, then there's gonna be consequences. You would have to deal with Russia and China.
I don't mean to scare you, but Iran, Yemen, Russia, China, North Korea, it's only a matter of time until these guys escalate things to a point of no return, and you want to make sure that you're ready in the event of that. When this happens, they're most likely going to take us out from the inside. That means no power, no electricity, no nothing. You're going to try to power your phone on and you won't be able to, and you'll have no electricity to get in contact with the outside world or even know what's going on. That means your phone's going to die, your laptop's going to die, your iPad's going to die, everything is going to die eventually. That is unless you have the most powerful solar bank in the market.
He's trying to sell that solar bank, but let's be clear, he's right about one thing. If Iran was to get wiped out, you got to worry about Russia, China, Yemen, and all them getting involved.
Hey guys, it's us. We're the civilization that dies tonight. Even if a nuke's not dropped, even if a bunch of desalination plants and power plants aren't hit, the fact that we can't actually do diplomacy or admit defeat or do anything beyond bold, raw-faced imperial violence. I don't know. I think the last vestiges or the last illusions, personally for me, of what Western civilization, whatever the hell that means, lies beneath the ruins of Gaza, or Afghanistan, or Iraq, or Vietnam, or Korea, or gunboat diplomacy, or all the nations in the global south cooed and regime changed, or manifest destiny. Yeah, it's got to end. Western civilization, which I, again, don't really know what that means, is gonna kill us all. Hey, guys.
So it is breaking news. Just, let's see, 20 minutes into this massive full-scale attack, Trump issues another ceasefire. How the hell, first of all, how is he ushering out ceasefires by himself? Iran is like, if you're going to do it, do it. He like, no, not tonight. I'm going to give him 2 more weeks. So we got to go to the news here in a moment, y'all, momentarily. So it's already been established. I just seen the breaking news. He already didn't gave in. I told y'all, I didn't think he was going to do that. He's just selling wolf tickets. He's selling wolf tickets. Listen to this.
Civilian power plants could be a war crime.
I'm not worried about it. You know it's a war crime? Having a nuclear weapon. Allowing a sick country with demented leadership have a nuclear weapon.
I'm telling you. So Trump knew that what he announced was a war crime. But it looks like in Iran they're celebrating the death of America.
Hey American people, here is Tehran where Iranians keep chanting death to America every single day and night. But what does it mean? Let me translate it for you. First of all, I want you to know that when we say death to America, we do differentiate between the American government and the American people. Death to America means death to the interfering policies of the United States and death to your corrupt, satanic, pedophile leadership and politicians, not to the American people.
You hear that? So when they saying death to America, they're not talking about us. So all of you brothers and sisters out there, They listen, they're talking from over there, from where they're standing, they're talking about death to these satanic Epstein class. Yep. Let's go.
This is the biggest lie you've ever been told since your childhood, that the Ayatollahs or Iranians want to kill all of you Americans because they say death to America. We Iranians are the most demonized people in history, and if you don't believe me, just ask about the kindness and hospitality of Iranians from those who have traveled to Iran in person. So yes, we do chant death to America until your military forces get back to your other side of the world, and until your government be satisfied with your own natural resources. You already have enough oil in your country. We just want you to get out of our region and let us live the life we like. Let us wear whatever we like. We are already free, and we really don't need your help to liberate us. We are the heirs of the Persian Empire, which means we Iranians.
Whoa. And y'all wonder if the Bible is true or not. She just said it clear as day. We are the heirs of the Persian Empire. Ladies and gentlemen, the Persian Empire is who took out ancient Rome, ancient Babylon. The Persian Empire, they are the heirs of the Persian Empire. Iranians are. So everything we've been talking about scripturally, about history repeating itself and them doing it again, this is not just subsequential. This is not consequential. This is literally prophecy. Them people like, look, y'all got plenty of oil, although there's no mitigation system. Y'all taking all these people's oil, leave us alone. And if America don't leave them alone, they're going to be the ones that wipe America out again, because America is mystery Babylon written up in the scriptures. Make no mistake about it. It's mystery Babylon. It calls it the land that is, was, but is not. That's what the scriptures define it as. Now, what does that mean? It didn't exist during that time, but it would be somewhat a microcosm of the Roman Empire, with elements of Egypt, Sodom and Gomorrah, and Babylon. That's what America is. And the scripture says this place will be spiritually called Sodom and Egypt. Now, why would it be called Sodom and Egypt? Because it develops both, it inherits both philosophies. It's a melting pot. They serve many gods like they did in Egypt. In America, they believe in same-sex marriage. In America, it's a lot of trafficking and pederasty and everything wicked. And so you can think how you want to think about these people in the Middle East. I've been to Casablanca, and I could tell you this right now, just traveling, being in the Middle Eastern countries, they are different. They are in alignment. I remember being on a plane, and the flight attendant, he walked by and asked me, was I Muslim? I was like, no. The lady that was sitting next to me, he had her get up and move. Had her get up and move, meaning you're not about to bring your beliefs over here. We don't even want our people. Now, they were nice people. They serve you. They have great hospitality. They prepared a great meal, a great Mediterranean meal for us. They don't eat unlawful food, and their food is way better than the food over here. They pretty much have a Mediterranean diet, but they are strict on their customs. They're strict on making sure that their ideology survives. And you think after 5,000 years of that, you're going to come with your democracy, with your melting pot of beliefs and your new age religions and your pagan Christianity, not really following Christ as the scriptures have written? You think you're going to be able to combat a civilization that's been around for 5,000 years, who survived, with this weak country, with this corporation? It's not even a country anymore. It's a corporation that's going out of business. That's America right now. A corporation that's going out of business.
Have the most ancient civilization in the world.
She said it. They have the most ancient civilization in the world, and that is true.
And we do know how.
And it's not all the way true, because let's be clear, Africa is the most ancient civilization, but Iran is up there. Iran is up there. African is the origin of all world religions. Africa is the beginning of all time. Africa is the birthplace of the original man and woman. So let's be very clear about that, that's where our people came from. And when I say Africa, I'm not talking about the modern term as Africanus. I'm talking about the landmass of Ethiopia. Because we know that Africa was named after an explorer named Africanus. He was another white supremacist. But the point I'm trying to make is, just like America can't take Africa out, they're not going to be able to take Iran out either.
How to live and survive. And we definitely don't need a 250-year-old country to lecture and educate us about civilization.
Ooh, damn, she cooking with gas. Sheesh. She said we definitely don't need a 250-year-old country trying to lecture us. Damn. Man, this is what I've been preaching for the last 2 months, man. It's just good to hear a civilian from Iran saying it, because we need to hear this over here. We need to hear this over here, because what she's saying is 100% truth.
And freedom. So, do you want to know how stability and peace would appear in the world? I tell you, just get the hell out of the Middle East. Thank you.
Yeah, she said, look, you just go ahead and get out the Middle East. Yeah, she definitely cooked, man. She definitely cooked with that one. I mean, them people tired of playing games. That's why they're not backing down. That's why they're being nothing but defiant. Matter of fact, Trump backed down again. We got to go to that, of course. We got to go to that. There's a couple more sources I want to share that we got to see what happened, because it looked like Trump folded again. I wonder how that's going to go over. I wonder how the MAGA audience feels about that. Trump folding again. Hold on one moment. Let me make sure I got all of my. Yep. Look at this is what the Iranians doing right now. Yo, the Iranian embassy. So look, man, you just can't make this up, y'all. So on Easter, when Trump said Tuesday will be power plant day and bridge day, all wrapped up in one in Iran, there will be nothing like it. Open the effing straight, you crazy bastards, or you be living in hell. Just watch. Praise be to Allah. President Donald Trump. The Iran embassy in Zimbabwe posted, we lost the keys. Yo, do these people sound like they're afraid? We lost the keys. We're not opening nothing. Shut up. Now, what does this do when we really stop respecting and regarding our leaders? Because the Bible talk about this too. How we would have no regards for our princes and kings. Now you can see why. Is you can't take Trump, you can't take the president serious at this point, making all these threats. Follow up. If you're gonna do it, then go do it. That's crazy. That's crazy work right there.
We have some major news. A number of world leaders have come out and warned about what's to come next in the Iran war, with multiple of them saying that the information they have keeps them awake at night. That is certainly not something you ever want to hear. The South Korean president said the world is in turmoil over the energy crisis. The situation is so serious that it has even kept me up at night. The immediate problem is grave enough, but the outlook ahead seems even more unstable. The situation is worse than expected. Italy's defense minister said, I am forced to know things about what could happen in the coming week and the effects it will have on the economy and our daily lives that no longer allows me to sleep. So multiple leaders in different countries in different positions of power all saying the same thing, that things are about to get worse and it keeps them up at night. And you can thank Donald Trump for putting us in this situation.
Anybody walking around with a MAGA hat needs to be slapped 30 times in rapid succession. They need about 30 reps. They need about 30 reps of 10 slaps, 10 sets, 30 reps of just pure unadulterated slaps. Just anybody just deciding to wear, anybody who just support MAGA and wear MAGA hats, they just need to just, I just hope you lose your remote, never find it. I hope every time you go to the movies and pay your money, somebody tell you the end of the damn movie. I hope your favorite item you get from the store is always out of stock when you go in there. Like, no, real talk. I just really like these MAGA folks. I just hope you get hit with tax evasion. Like, I hope the moment you get up to go to work tomorrow, your car just don't start. I hope I'm just keeping it a buck. Anyway, let me stop cracking jokes, man. Because this is serious, because let's be real. Let me keep it a buck with you. The war will escalate. The war will escalate. However, it's just not escalating the way we thought it was tonight. But something changed regardless. Just even allowing this fool in the White House to talk the way he did.
An entire civilization will die tonight. What the fuck? Donald Trump just threatened to murder and eradicate the entire civilization of Iran tonight. In case you didn't see, back on Easter Sunday 2 days ago, Donald Trump posted 2 messages. One was a direct threat to Iran, stating that today would be power plant and bridge day, basically saying that he was going to start bombing all of the civilian infrastructure in the country of Iran if they didn't open the fucking strait. His words, not mine. And then he posted an ominous message later that day, notating Tuesday, 8 p.m., President Donald J. Trump. He wakes up this morning and the first thing that he posts is that an entire civilization will die tonight. What in the fuck are we talking about when we're talking about this motherfucker not being fit to fucking serve?
I mean, honestly, y'all, the president even talking like that is a problem. But he did all that talking. He had a lot to say. He did. But guess what? Let's fast forward. Let's fast forward to now. Guess what, y'all? It's 3 minutes to 8 o'clock, so we're right on time. We're going to do this right at the time. What Donald Trump said, he was going to do what he was going to do. Now, also, we got to be careful with that crafty little demon. Because he could say it's a ceasefire and then turn around and do what? Bomb them anyway. That's the thing. When you're dealing with a devil, you can't trust nothing they say. Y'all remember the first time they attacked Iran. They said that, hey, we're going to do a ceasefire. But look, they were still throwing blows. Between America and Israel, they were still throwing blows. But they waited for Iran to take their defenses down. So don't fall for the games, y'all. We're going to go to the news. We got breaking news. They're saying that there's been a ceasefire and Trump is going to suspend the attacks. Let's get to it. Hold on.
One here too, live now from Fox. I'm your host, Mike Page. We come back to you with breaking news. We were talking about earlier about the markets really showing signs of strength, and now we know why. President Trump just putting this out on Truth Social, saying based on conversations with the Prime Minister of Pakistan, and wherein they requested that I hold off the destructive force being sent tonight to Iran, and subject to the Islamic Republic of Iran agreeing to the complete, immediate, and safe opening of the Strait of Hormuz, I agree to suspend the bombing and attack of Iran for a period of 2 weeks. This will be a double-sided ceasefire. The reason for doing so is that we have already met and exceeded all military objectives and are very far along with a definitive agreement concerning long-term peace with Iran and peace in the Middle East.
Anytime these people scream peace, something destructive coming about. There's no peace. We're going to have to break down what Trump just said after all of this. You know, this has been going hyper viral all day, only for him to say he ain't doing nothing. I'm tired of these people just talking. I'm ready to see something shake. I'm ready to see something shake. Stop all the damn talking. Anyway, let's go. Let's break this post down.
Bring to the complete, immediate, and safe opening of the Strait of Hormuz, I agree to suspend the bombing and attack of Iran for a period of 2 weeks. This will be a double-sided ceasefire. The reason for doing so is that we have already met and exceeded all...
Okay, so are they saying Iran agreed to open the Strait of Hormuz? It says, and subject to the Islamic Republic of Iran agreeing to the complete, immediate, and safe opening of the Strait of Hormuz, I agree to suspend the bombing and attack of Iran for a period of 2 weeks. This will be a double-sided ceasefire. The reason for doing so is that we have already met and exceeded all military objectives and are very far along with a definitive agreement concerning long-term peace with Iran and peace in the Middle East. Something ain't right about this. Y'all know what we got to do now. We got to look at what Iran said. We received a 10-point proposal from Iran and believe it is a workable basis on which to negotiate almost all the various points of past contention. I don't believe this. Have been agreed to between the United States and Iran, but a 2-week period will allow the agreement to be finalized and consummated. On behalf of the United States of America as president and also representing the countries of the Middle East, it is an honor to have this long-term problem closed.
Military objectives and are very far along with a definitive agreement concerning long-term peace with Iran and peace in the Middle East. We received a 10-point proposal from Iran and believe it is a workable basis on which to negotiate. Almost all of the various points of past contention have been agreed to between the United States and Iran, but a 2-week period will allow the agreement to be finalized. On behalf of the United States of America as president and also representing the countries of the Middle East, it is an honor to have this long-term problem close to resolution. Thank you for your attention to this matter, and then signs it President Donald J. Trump.
So what we're getting is a half truth right here, y'all. Let me break this down to you. Did Iran offer to open the Strait of Hormuz? Yes, but not exactly how the U.S. wants. So what happened just recently, this is updated breaking news, Iran agreed to allow safe passage through the Strait of Hormuz, but it's temporary, about 2 weeks, and that's controlled by Iran's military, and it is part of a ceasefire negotiation. one of the key details that a lot of people are going to miss in this, because they're going to think that Iran went ahead and copped the plea. Only thing this means is ships can pass, but we control how and when. Because I don't know if y'all understand what was happening. There was a lot of ships that was lost, like literally not lost, but trapped in the Strait of Hormuz and could not pass. So what's happening right now is Iran is agreeing that, hey, we're going to let these ships pass. Does this mean that the war is over? No. Does this mean that there's going to be peace in the Middle East? No, there will never be trust between these individuals. So now what we have here is, you got a 2-week ceasefire. It's been discussed. This is not what Trump announced. This is not total compliance. This is not a full de-escalation. This is pretty much temporary easing and more strategic positioning as well. The war continues. Both sides are pretty much buying time. They didn't fully open the Strait of Hormuz like Trump just announced. They adjusted it to let people pass through. So that whole you open it or else routine, it did not work. It did not work. It did not work. So is everything cooling down? Is that what people want to know? No, it's not cooling down. They're just buying time. The war continues. But it's always an honor to give y'all real updates to what's going on, because I've seen a lot of people panicking all day. Through my For You page, all I seen was people just panicking, showing fear, not really understanding what's going on. You could tell they didn't really have the Holy Spirit on them. But, we broke this down right down the middle, what's going on. For all of your political, analytical videos, you need to come right here to Nubreed Global Truth and get the truth. And I just want to thank everybody for showing up, man. It's always a good time building with y'all. Of course, we got more material coming. I want y'all to support the work via Cash App. Nubreed Global Truth is the Cash App. All donations are appreciated if you find the work valuable, as well as NubreedGlobalTruth.com. Get your merchandise and represent. Also, get all your natural products, soaps, deodorants, toothpaste, oils, ointments, so on and so forth from HebrewCare.com. Man, thank each and every one of y'all. Y'all keep your head on a swivel. We're going to keep on building in truth and bringing out the reality of what's going on out here. One love to y'all. Stay safe. Peace.